Hello, I'm Rex Basterfield and I'd like to welcome you to a video about my Quilcom SIM-HANDPAN. As you saw in the opening slideshow, this is a very modern instrument which has only been available since 2001. The SIM-HANDPAN doesn't use any samples. It's a synthesizer designed to simulate this quite remarkable instrument. The German company PANArt made the very first one, which was derived in principle from the Caribbean steel pan, and since then there have been many manufacturers around the world producing their own variations of this idea. PANArt's original instrument was called the hang, not the hang drum incidentally, and subsequently, because that's registered, other manufacturers couldn't use the term hang, so the generic term arose, handpan. If you'd like more information about this type of instrument, if you look in the background folder in the download, you'll find lots of links which will lead you to a lot more detail. Since there's no standard configuration for a handpan, I made the decision to go for a 9-note version. If you want to buy a handpan, a good quality, well-tuned one will cost £2,000 to £3,000. You have to decide what notes you want on the handpan, what scale it's in, and place your order and wait 2 to 3 months typically for delivery. But with the Quilcom SIM-HANDPAN, you can choose what notes you have. It doesn't cost you a penny and delivery is instant. So how do you play it? Well, with the MIDI keyboard, you start on the B below middle C and go up to the top C above. On the bottom shell there's an opening which PANArt called a goo, and if you slap that it causes a deep Helmholtz resonance due to the volume of air contained in the handpan. And to make that sound you hit the A below middle C. On the very best handpans, that is to say the most expensive ones, the note fields can be made to ring the full sound or the harmonic 1 octave above or a compound fifth above, and to do that you use the F below middle C and the G below middle C to change over to the harmonics. I'll demonstrate that now. When players are playing the instrument in a rhythmical way, they very often introduce taps to the body of the instrument in what's called the interstitial area. In other words, you avoid the note field and just tap the body and you get a certain characteristic ring sound from the metalwork and from the note fields. I've made it so all the black keys, all the 6 black keys within the note range can trigger a body tap sound, and having several keys triggering the same sound means that you can simulate rapid finger rolls. As I mentioned before, if you want to order yourself a real handpan, you have to decide in advance what notes you want on it, and this is sometimes referred to as the tone structure. Since the tone structure typically doesn't contain all the continuous notes of a scale, the manufacturers use some very odd terms for those scales, and I've given presets here which cover the arguably the most popular ones. So I'll just pick at those, a few of those, just to give you some idea of what the different scales sound like. I should mention that the curd in D is easily the most common and most popular configuration, so I provided a button there to set this up instantly. Now, if you like the sound of a particular tone structure, but you like it in a different key, you don't have to enter all new notes. You can use the key knob. And as you heard there, you can go well beyond what's physically achievable on a real handpan. Some handpan tuners choose to stretch the tuning over the range of notes. So in this case, you can use the stretch knob, and typical maximum value is 17 cents, although being a synthesizer, you can go much more than that should you wish to. These days there are two types of steel used to make handpans. The original one was nitrided steel, which is case hardened, and in more recent times stainless steel has been introduced. So this knob morphs between the two settings. So this is nitrided, and stainless, and you can set it anywhere in between those two. The standard pitch reference, which is concert pitch for a handpan, is when A equals 440. But there are folk who believe that A equals 432 is better for you somehow. So you can set either one of those. This is 440. That's 432. So now I'll talk about the sound of the instrument itself. So here we can set the decay time of the note fields. And we can set the sharpening of the second and third harmonic, which is often the case with non-linear systems like the handpan fields. When you tap on the handpan, you get 3 additional components to the actual tone sound itself. One of these is the short-lived metallic component, and we can adjust the quality and pitch of that with the metal knob. And its level. Another component of the sound is caused by the strike on the body or on the note field, causing all the note fields to ring slightly, which gives a kind of tuned reverb to the sound, and we can adjust the level of that with the all control. And steel tongue drums are more prone to that sound than handpans. The final component of the sound is caused by sympathetic resonance, so I've included a tuned filter bank to simulate resonances which have integer relationships. So for instance, if we hit A3, then A4 fundamental should sound a little bit, so I'll demonstrate that. This sets the level. And this adjusts the bandwidth of the filter bank. It's a fairly subtle effect. The GUI, which is the hole port on the underside of the handpan, has its own settings, so you can set the decay time of the Helmholtz resonance, its pitch, and if a player puts their hand into the hole, the pitch will increase. Also, if they hold their legs closer together, it will bend the pitch upwards somewhat, so I'll demonstrate that now. So that's my Quilcom SIM-HANDPAN, and I must say I've had a lot of fun and pleasure from just playing this thing, because you can't play a wrong note, and I find it quite inspirational and relaxing, and I hope you do too. Handpans are generally considered to be solo instruments played by one person for their own enjoyment, but there's nothing to stop you having more than one instance. So I'm going to play out with a short piece with two instances playing, and until the next time, bye.